Good evening, guys. A quick sound check. Am I audible? Welcome, everyone. We'll just wait for a few more seconds so that people can join in before we start today's session. So, we have an interesting session ahead. The first part, I will be talking about what has happened in the month of March in Nifty and Bank Nifty because we are very close to the settlement, the business end of the month. So we have the Bank Nifty expiry tomorrow and the Nifty expiry the day after. So we would be closing the month, the quarter, and the financial year. So we will have a talk about what the month of March has brought in both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, and then we'll move on to the more important topic of how we can use the POC, the point of control, in the option charts and what are the features we have in the newly introduced line charts in the vtender chart section. So on screen you have the market profile chart of Nifty Spot. This is the monthly chart and I'll just zoom it a bit so that we can see the entire month of March in a single screen. So I have split the monthly chart into days so we can see which day the auction was doing what. So when we started the month of March, we had a good move away from the previous month's value. So the start was a bullish one, and we continue to make higher highs in the first week. We did have a dip below the value area of February, but it got supported in the first attempt. So then we made these poor highs, the similar highs. This was the first sign that the upside is getting exhausted. But still, the value till that time was higher on the monthly scale. So we were still looking for buying on dips with this level as our support because it had already taken a uh, support there, and this zone was 22224, and this was our reference to buy on dips in this Nifty spot. So what happened in the second week was we broke through this and we left a scene of crime here. So this 22224 in spot is one very important reference because that signaled the change of character in the auction from being bullish and being a buy on dip market to not being a bullish market. So what happened here, once we broke this and we got accepted in this value, we took out this AP rate tail, the monthly buying tail which we had left on the 1st of March, and then this triggered a 80% rule in this monthly value of February because we had a nice balanced profile in February. So we went on to tag. We took minor support at the POC of previous month, which is this yellow line 21930, and then we once we broke it, we had to complete that 80% rule, which is to tag the value area low of February, which was at 21793. So what happened there was very how the market profile gives us such important cues is we left a small responsive buying tail. We did break below this value area low. We made a low of 21710 in March, but we have left one buying tail there. So it is indicating that it does not want to move away from this value. So what we are doing now is we are again retracing the move higher, and we are completing a nice balanced profile for the month of March. So what started off as a bullish month is now a neutral center profile on the monthly time frame. So how can we expect the month to close now? Because we have This is a neutral profile. It is telling us that both the buyers and the sellers are very active, and we have zones marked out for both. So as I said, this 22224 will be our first reference on the upside and spot, and then we have these highs of March. On the downside, what we have done is we've left this responsive buying tail, which will be our support going forward in the month of April. And for the remaining 2 days we have in March, what can happen? What can we expect? So we have the POC of March right in the middle now, which is at 22,000. So I will come to the spectrum charts later, and there we can see where how the gamma zero also is at 22,000. So 22,000 is the focus going forward for this month's expiry, which is tomorrow and day after. We will have to see how the auction plays out near this 22,000 reference. So today we made a normal day. It was a very narrow range day, and we can expect from here that we can get a move, some move in the expiry. So 22,000 would be our reference area, reference zone, and then we'll see how the option buildup is happening at this level, both the call as well as the put, and see if one of these writers can be taken to task in on the expiry day, which will be day after. So this is about the Nifty. So most expectedly, the close of this month would be a neutral center one. So we can either expect it to close right at the 22,000 level, or on the upside we have this 22224, and on the downside we have this 21793 as the support. So apart from this, we have one very important HVN on the spot chart at 21860. So this was an earlier reference where we had been getting important cues in market profile. It was a VPOC on a daily profile chart. Then we had an FA which we left right at the 21860 level. And last week when we made those low of 21,710, we formed a 2-day balance again with the prominent POC being at that 21,862 level. So that again would be our important HVN to track for tomorrow and day after on the downside. So this is as far as the Nifty spot is concerned. Uh, I will quickly move on to the Bank Nifty spot chart to discuss what the monthly profile of Bank Nifty looks like and see what we can expect for tomorrow's expiry. So this is the monthly chart of Bank Nifty. I'll just increase the TPO size. It is not recommended, but it is only for this presentation so that we can have a clearer view of what has happened on the daily time frame using the monthly chart. So as in Nifty, even Bank Nifty, we had a nice move away from previous value. So once we had this move away, you can see we were taking support right at this value area high of previous month. This C and D, the third and fourth sessions of March, they had made lows right at that level. So this was indicating that the probe was to the upside. And when we had done that first session of March on the first day of March, we had spoken about how we are expecting this monthly POC to be tagged because we are moving out of a monthly value. So that was our objective. But what happened when we hit that objective is we left a small responsive tail. And just to bring a little bit of context back in Bank Nifty, Nifty had been bullish from November, but Bank Nifty had made this highs in December, which it had not broken in the January series. So what we had seen in the monthly chart was that the POC had shifted to the upper part. So this was very clearly telling that it was getting responsive selling on the monthly time frame. So this is why we left this responsive selling tail in Jan, and we had this POC right near the top at the on the January. We had the responsive selling tail in the December profile, and we got the POC shifted to the top in the January profile, which we from where we moved away to the downside. So now when we tag this POC in March, what we got was a responsive selling tail. So this was showing that the demand was not coming in here. So from here, we left a scene of crime at this zone, which was at 47745 spot. 47745 spot is the scene of crime in Bank Nifty. So break of that was telling us that the one time frame move on the upside on the monthly scale has now been broken, and the auction is gone from an imbalance to a more of a balanced zone. So what we got was we got a reverse one time frame move lower, where we went on to complete this 80% rule in value area of February, and we almost tagged this low of 45,700, which was the prominent TPO POC from February. So as in Nifty, we have left one small responsive buying tail at the lows. This responsive buying tail is from 46,022 to 45,828. So when you are looking at the extremes being rejected, you play for a mean revert. It can be on all time frames, whether it's a daily, weekly, or a monthly time frame. So when this happened on a monthly time frame, it was obvious that the Bank Nifty wants to move towards the middle of the profile. So which is what it has done over the next last few sessions, where it has made this high of 46,690. But what it did there was it left a daily failed auction. So that is one immediate reference moving forward for tomorrow's expiry, 46,990. And on the upside, this month's developing POC is at 47,300. So 46,990 and 47,300 are our references for tomorrow's expiry in Bank Nifty. What about the downside? Because Bank Nifty also is a neutral center profile, we can expect the close to be in the middle of the monthly profile. But on the downside, we will look at this developing value area, which is at the developing value area is around 46,380, which will be our zone to watch. So just for tomorrow's expiry, I'll quickly shift on to the daily chart of Bank Nifty to so that we can get some more precise levels, and also with that we can see what options we need to look for, what which strike prices we need to look for tomorrow. And the same strike prices, what we'll do is we'll look at the line charts to see how the POC and VWAP of those strike prices can help us in getting some favorable trades in tomorrow's session. So as you can see, Bank Nifty had formed a nice 4-day balance from 15th to 20th of March, and this 4-day balance composite POC is at 46422, and the value area low is at 46334. So from here we tried to move higher on the 21st. We made higher value, but what we did was the upside got exhausted from this FA. You can see the seaside extension here, and this is an FA. So this FA is at that 46,990 level which I was mentioning. So that will be our first reference on the upside. And if we take this out, we are moving towards this VPOC of 47,300. So that is the upside play in Bank Nifty. And today you can see we have formed a normal day in Bank Nifty also. So on the upside, if we are staying above this value area, we are looking for this VPOC tag of 46,889 and 47,300, with this 46,990 being one minor reference. So this is as far as the upside is concerned, and staying below this value area, and this blue dotted line is what we call the rollover point, where the maximum rollovers happened on the expiry day. So we have been uh, continuously forming TPOs at the same level. So Bank Nifty, that is the reason Bank Nifty looks good for one nice expiry move tomorrow in either direction. So that will we will need to see from the order flow and the open type tomorrow about what it is telling us further. So here, if we stay below this today's value, we are looking for this lower POCs. So this is as far as the Bank Nifty spot is concerned. So here I would like to, yes, this is spot charts which I am showing you because we are talking on about the monthly profile. So here I'll be taking a small break to take in any questions anyone has in the topic covered so far before we move on to the line charts and see how the line charts and the POCs can help us in the options part. So if there are any questions, please feel free to shoot them. Yes, the charts shown here are all spot charts, and because it's the monthly expiry, it is better to go with the spot levels. So anyone has any questions? Fine. I guess so. We are good. So I'll move on to the next main topic we have, which is the line charts. 46990 is the failed auction in Bank Nifty. Failed auction is a very important concept we have in market profile. We have a couple of articles which is there on the website which explains what a failed auction is and how can we trade a failed auction. So we you can go through them, and the 21st of March I think was the date. Yes, 21st of March profile. If you see the daily chart, you will have that failed auction. Poor highs and poor lows are nothing but where the auction is getting exhausted at one certain level. It need not be an exact point, but it can be in the zone of maybe 10 to 15 points in case of Nifty, and maybe 20-25 points in case of Bank Nifty. It is only showing us that the auction is not able to proceed further. Even though it has got a range extension, it is not able to proceed further, which is because of lack of volumes in that direction. So coming to the next topic, what we have introduced at WeTrender chart very recently is the line charts, which is a very useful concept, especially when you're trading options. So this is there in the menu. We have the menu. When you click on the top left, and in the menu you get this drop down. In the drop down, you just need to go to line charts, and by default you will get the line charts of Nifty, and you can check for how many days you want the charts to be visible. FA is confirmed on the end of the day basis, whether it is closing below the IBL or above the IBL. So on days where it has range extension on both sides, the FA is confirmed if it closes on the other extreme of the FA. So in our example, on 21st of March, we had the FA on the upside. So it had to close below the IBL of that day. Or the next day, it needed to be below that IBL level. So I'll quickly explain what these lines are, although most of you would be familiar. In the line charts, this is the candlestick is definitely the price which you have, and you can hide, or you can hide whatever you want by clicking on the uh, option you symbols you have on the downside. So the green line is the VWAP, which is also same in our market profile charts. And this pink or purple line which runs through the line chart is the POC, VPOC, which is the volume POC, which is what we are going to talk about today, and show see why it is very important, especially when it comes to the option charts. And then this orange, this is the futures chart. So this is the orange is the OI. In options you will have a different color. So I'll just quickly move on to the option chart, and here we have the 22,000 call option. So I have the 22,000 call option of the last 6 days. So here we have a fair bit of idea of what this option has been doing. uh, Everyone is able to oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to, I think. Yeah, give me a minute, guys. I'll just change the screen. I just realized. Yeah, extremely sorry. I was on another screen and I was showing you another screen. So I'll just redo what I had spoken about the line charts. So right now you can see I have clicked on the menu and I have got this drop down, right? So we have this line charts, which is the fourth option from the left. Hope the screen is visible to everyone. And we click on this line charts and we get this new feature we have on the VTrender chart section. So I guess all of you can view the line charts now. Just a quick confirmation, guys. Great, thanks. So this is the Nifty. By default, we get the Nifty, and we can uh, have the number of days we want the charts to be visible. So we have a maximum of 6 days. So we being intraday traders, we have a lot of information which we can see in the last 6 sessions, and based on which we can take important calls in the next trading session. So what we need to do, in case you need to just go to the option charts, and I'll also come to why we are looking at the 22,000 call and put, because the gamma zero is at 22,000. What the and we also discussed, we also saw how the spot monthly chart was having the POC shifting to the 22,000 level on the monthly time frame. So the last 2 days of this expiry, all the action is expected to happen at this zone. So which is why we are taking into consideration these strike prices. In fact, I'll quickly show you the spectrum charts so that we are aware of how the spectrum charts look. What we need to do for the spectrum chart is again go to the menu, and we have this NTM OI and strike spectrum charts. NTM OI will also give you the open interest of call and put. So this is a more uh, advanced chart because you get to see what the OI is doing in the call and put also. So just to so here we have the spectrum charts of the last 4 sessions. I will bring this down to the 2 sessions because we are more focused on this week's expiry. And now here you can see we have the gamma range as the spectrum range as 21,700 on the downside and 22,200 on the upside. So we can see how you can relate this to the monthly chart which we were seeing. We had that scene of crime as 22,224 in spot. So that has now become a important resistance point even in the spectrum range. And the gamma zero is this blue dotted line which is at 22,000. So all the focus would be on this 22,000 level, and which is why we are looking at the 22,000 call and put chart. So now what you have on screen now is the line chart of the 22,000 call. So as I said, this pink line is the POC, the green is the VWAP, and this blue line is the open interest. And at the bottom you have the OI spikes. Green OI spikes is indicating that the open interest is rising, and the red is showing that the open interest is falling. And we also have the IV. So as in all charts, you can click the bottom symbols to see the spikes, to see the data or hide the data. So for now we are focusing on the POC. So we can even look to hide the VWAP reference. But in options, it is very important to take it as a combo, the POC and the VWAP, because it gives us very good indication of who is in control and what can you expect in the market going forward. So what is the POC? POC is the point of control. And why is it important? Point of control is the level where you have the highest volumes taking place. So that means that is a place where both the buyers and the sellers are in agreement. So which is why a lot of importance is given to the POC. So what happens in option charts is we look at the POCs of the last 6 sessions and see where the highest POC was. So here you can see right at the beginning, the POC of this 22,000 call was a 320 zone, which was the highest so far in this series in the last 6 days. So when you see this and you relate it to the next, I'll just, yeah. So you have from 15th March to 26th March, you have all these sessions. So you can see how the POC was, the highest POC was at the 320 level. And then on 18th of March, we got that POC again climbed to that 300 level. So here you can see this highs. We did go above this POC, but we were not able to sustain. And we had that POC right at the upper level. And as we discussed in the monthly chart of Bank Nifty, how the POC shifting to the upper segment was showing us responsive selling. This is similar is of what is happening in this on the shorter time frame. So even in options, we can see if the POC is shifting to the top and the price is below, you know that the writers are getting in that particular option. So once we have this POC, you can see on a daily basis the POC is shifting to the lower side. That means the this auction is the call is going on the downside. It is losing premium. This is 19th and 20th are days where the POC was overlapping. So this was an indication that it could be forming a balance from the move lower. It could be forming a balance. And then what happened on the 21st was you did not see any decrease in the open interest. In fact, after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see the open interest rising in this call. So when the I'll just bring this down, the time frame down to a smaller scale so that we can see what is happening. So here we can see after 12 o'clock, the price went below the POC and VWAP and the open interest began to rise. So that means the writers were getting into this. So as long as the price remains below the POC, it means that the sellers are in control. So that is where you can see the uh, open interest to rise. So that is extra confirmation that the market is looking at more on the downside. So here you can see this huge OI spike in the morning. We opened with a gap down on 21st, 22nd, is it? Yes, 22nd we opened lower. So I'll just make a closer view so that we get a clearer view of the 22nd chart. So here you can see we have got good green spikes and the POC had shifted to the lows. The POC was here at one point of time, which was at 126. This is a 22,000 call. And once we got back above this POC, I'll just increase the screen size. So yeah, I hope all this are visible. Once we got above this POC and VWAP, it was showing that the writers who had entered at the open were all underwater. So when an option price is staying above the POC, it is telling us that the late writers in it are under water, and those could be forced to cover. So once that happens, what are the probable objectives? So the POCs of previous sessions serve as the probable targets. And then what we do is we look at what is happening at those POCs and then take a fresh call whether we have to book profits if we are long in that option or continue to hold some. So here you can see this 191 was one POC level where it went tagged and remained above it. So then we move on to the next reference. So as you can see, we made a high of 300. This 300 we tagged at 2 in the K period, which is at I think 215, 220. So this 300 is the POC which we had seen earlier on 18th of March, which was the highest POC which this CE had recorded. So what it is showing us is this auction is again stalling at this POC. You can see this pink line on 18th of March, which was at 300, which the POC, the point of control of this 22,000 call option on 18th was at, and it had never come back to tag this POC all these days. And it finally, when it did on the 22nd of March at 2 o'clock, it made double attempts, but it could not sustain above it. So this was very clearly telling that this 300, which was the POC, previous POC, the highest POC in this call, is stalling the move. And how do we get more confirmation on this? We see the order flow charts, and in order flow chart, we will see RS and IS being formed at this level. So when we see that, we know that the up move in this option is done, and we need to come out of this option and book our profits. And from there you can see the open interest had started to dip after making this peak in the morning at 10 o'clock, but once it again made tag this 300, it big and it came down to VWAP, because here again we have closed above the VWAP and POC. Although it has hit that important objective of 300, we have closed well above the POC and VWAP. So it is still that the writers are forced to exit. The older writers who have entered at a higher level may be still holding it, but then today's auction we needed to see what is happening in this strike price. So right from the open, you can see you have green OI spikes and the open interest is rising and the price is below the POC. Even in today's chart, if I just make it intraday and see what it has done in today's chart, you can very clearly see that this was the POC in the morning, that 185 level. So you can see when in the day we are coming to that 185 level, we are not been able to sustain and we are again coming back lower. So this 185 POC would be one reference for tomorrow and day after. So this is one reference which we will have to mark out in this particular call option. And on the downside, we will have to see if it can sustain above the POC and VWAP of today, which is at 170 and 167 respectively. Yes. So before I move forward, any queries on these line charts, please welcome to ask. The OI data is coming is updated only every 3 minutes from the exchange, so that has to happen every 3 minutes. But the line charts, the price wise, it gets updated or real time. But the OI will definitely update only when we get the latest data from the exchange. So that is the reason OI is always more of a lagging indicator. That is why we depend on order flow more, and then we take a confirmation that OI is also in sync with what the order flow has showed us. For the line charts, there is no time because it is fixed on the OI data which we are getting from the exchange. So we have option in the order flow charts to set the time to 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes. But the line charts we only have the option of zooming in and zooming out, so you can see for what particular zone you want to. So any more questions on the line charts, guys? So I'll just quickly move on to the 22,000 put and see what could be our probable targets for tomorrow in case we get a move lower. How we can look at that from the line charts using just the POC. So an unvisited POC on any time frame, on any market profile chart, or even the order flow chart, or now we also have the line chart, is one probable target you can expect when the auction starts moving in that direction. So as of now, you can see the open interest has been building in this put, and the POC and the VWAP is around the 60-67 zone. And today's highest POC was at 80 levels. No, sorry, we have the highest POC at this 120, 128 levels. So here for tomorrow, you can have this 128 level as the reference, above which if we move and we are getting buy signals in the order flow, we can expect this next higher POC level of this 210. So this is how we look at the option charts, option line charts, and arrive at probable targets, because the POCs serve as important support or demand levels, or they can also serve as important resistance or supply levels, depending on which side of the auction they are coming in. And the POC along with this open interest and the OI spikes form a very lethal combination. So if you are in sync of what the auction is doing, this line chart gives you lot of invaluable inputs to take trades. So I'll quickly show you the option spectrum chart of the bank nifty, so that we can then look for what options and what strike prices we can look for tomorrow in bank nifty's expiry, and what are the targets or uh, support levels we can look in those options. So as you can see, the spectrum range for bank nifty is a wide one, 46,000 on the downside to 47,000 on the upside, with the gamma zero being at 46,700. So this 46,700 is our level to watch, and the spot has closed as 46,600. So we can look at the 46,700 call option for tomorrow, and you can see the open interest was rising in this. It had almost touched 2 lakh 30,000, but it saw some dip into the close. The dip was not because of these option writers getting hit, but it was more of profit booking, because you can see the price has remained below the POC and VWAP of the option. So going forward for tomorrow, this POC of 265 would be the important reference in this 46,700 call. Till the time we remain below this POC, you can see the open interest continue to rise. The open interest as closed today was around 1 lakh 84. So we can keep a track of this at the open tomorrow and see what the writers are doing, whether they are adding to this or whether they are booking out. But one thing you can be sure of, once this gets above this POC and you are seeing some good buy volumes in the order flow chart, then you can expect this open interest to continue to fall, and then the option to move towards this higher POC level of 450, and then this 525. So this is how we these POC lines in POCs on line charts help us for to get to know the probable targets and objectives, and they also serve as important support and resistance, as we saw in the 22,000 call chart how it resisted right at the 300 level, which was a POC from the 18th of March. So if you are an option seller, you would want to take advantage of that information to get into an option sell side on a very favorable risk reward ratio. So from 300, that option is come down to, I think, 100 today, 150. So it is already fallen by more than 100%. So going forward tomorrow, this 170 would be the reference for tomorrow, not just tomorrow, for even the uh, expiry days option. So coming to the 46,700 call. So as we said, we have seen some profit booking into the close, and this POC would remain our reference for tomorrow. And on buy signals, we will expect this higher POCs to be the targets. And on the downside, if we are getting a down move, what we saw today in 46,500 put, even Shai mentioned that on Twitter, is a big writer who had come in. So you can see very clearly this open interest OI spikes, green spikes all through. And I will just, this is today's. So here you can see it is this option has remained almost all day below the POC, and the POC at the open was around the 160 mark. So in the order flow, we can see you would have got responsive selling or initiative selling bars near this 160 zone, which is where we even got the big option side sell, which was hedged with a big future sell also in the chart, order flow chart, which we had seen. So what this option writer has done is he's carried forward maybe, or this red spikes into the close indicate some profit booking also. But his entry was around, I think, 140, 145, and he was holding it below this POC. So that the huge entry at that level is also, which also means that the POC also remains at that particular level. So the POC shifting lower is indicating that the highest volumes have shifted to the downside, which could be a combination that fresh selling is coming in, and maybe the earlier selling is booking profit. So that is why the POC is come down. So moving forward in this option, the VWAP and POC would be important for tomorrow's open. So whenever any option is staying above the POC and VWAP of previous day, that means it is hurting the option writers of that particular session. And we will then see where the current day POC is forming, and related to that where the auction is holding. So that would be our uh, reference for tomorrow. I have already given you the spot levels for Bank Nifty. So accordingly, we can look at this objectives, and it will become more simpler by these POCs. So tomorrow, if we are going above VWAP of this 46,500 put, this which is at 125, the first target we can expect is this 160, 150. 150 was where we got that big seller today. If that big seller does not come back and add tomorrow, in case of a bounce here, we can expect more upside. This is almost similar to that 172 and this POC higher of 251. So this is how we will keep a track of what is happening on the line chart, and it is very easy to get a synopsis of the entire option life, because an option, especially a weekly option, has got a life of maximum 4 to 5 sessions. So here we can see the last 6 sessions, and we can very in one single frame chart out whatever important references are there of that particular option. So this is what we have for today in the line charts, and how we can use the POC going forward. And we have this covered in our live trading room on a daily basis, and we look at taking trades of this when we get the confirmation from the order flow. So any queries, guys, you can please feel free to ask before we can wind up for the day. 46,700 call, we did talk about the probable targets. So 251 is the POC of today, 251, 260. So in case we are opening higher, we move above this. We are looking for higher targets. The first objective is this 300 POC, which was a higher POC of today. And then we have this POC at 450, 450 and 525. So what we do is we look at these references, and we look at what order flow is showing us when we come at these levels. Any more questions, guys? Himanshu, we are keeping a track of the monthly chart, spot chart, and even the spectrum is based on spot. So going into expiry, obviously the spot and futures will definitely uh, coincide. So that will take care of it. So we don't need to kind of separately track. We do definitely see how much of premium is there and if there is any difference. But ultimately, on a monthly expiry, the spot and future will coincide. So any more queries, guys? Or I think we can wind up for today. I would not want to hold you guys back for a longer time, because we have the two good probable expiries, monthly expiries tomorrow and day after. So it'll help us if we can keep ourselves fully prepared for that scenario. And I think what we can do in our next session is we can take examples of what plays out in this month's expiry, and we can explain those examples in our next session. We may not be having those charts in the VTrenders section, because Friday is a holiday, and they will be taken off once the series is over. But we can look at having images of those examples and explain them whenever we have our next session. Choosing the option wise, when you're getting close to the expiry, it is better you look at the spectrum range and go for the options. For example, 21,700 is the lower end of spectrum. You can see what the lower end is tomorrow, and you can look at that particular call option. And for the put, you can look at what the spectrum range is. For example, 22,200 is the spectrum range on the upside. So you can look at 22,200 put. At the money is when we are looking for long gamma trades, which comes into the expiry day mostly in the late afternoon. Go with the default size in options, because you would not want to lose out on important information. But if you feel the option in Bank Nifty is heavily priced, you can maybe reduce the TPO size by 1 or 2 levels. So what we generally do at VMR is we track the long gamma level, we track the gamma level, and when we are looking to go for long gamma trades, we take one strike above the gamma level for put and one strike below the gamma level for calls. For example, 22,000 is the gamma level. So we will look at trading the 21,900 call and the 22,100 put. In Bank Nifty, you can have that as a 200 point range. So, any more queries, guys? Anyways, we will look forward to hearing from you and your feedback. We want to make this sessions as informative and as helpful and as learning helps you in learning these concepts better. So you can always give us your feedback. You can mail us at support@vitender.com. You can even DM me on Twitter. My Twitter ID is open. It is at Uttam Goel, UTTAMGOEL. So you have any queries, you can ping me on Twitter. I would be happy to answer them. And we are looking forward to having much several more such sessions so that we can spread this awareness and show people how we can trade options, long options, in a more easier way. So Bank Nifty expiry I did explain. I'll quickly go to that spot chart. I'll have to so running through quickly the Bank Nifty. I'm just increasing the TPO size so that we are able to view this. So as I said, this 4-day balance from 15th to 20th in Bank Nifty is the composite which we are looking on the downside for tomorrow's session, for tomorrow's expiry session. Today is a normal day, so we will look at this value being accepted or rejected. If we stay below this value area low of 46,700, we are looking for probable targets of 46,422 and this value area low of 46,345. So this is what would be the lower objectives. And on the upper side, above this value area high of 46,720, sorry, value area low is at 46,584, value area high is at 46,710. So which is why that 46,700 call option will come into play. So if we sustain above this value area, we can look for this VPOC tag 46,889 and this FA of 46,990 and then finally this VPOC of 47,300. We have a live session every day in the VTrender mentoring room where all of us sit together and look at the charts and take trades. But these sessions are in the evening. Shai did mention he will have one live session, but that is not fixed, and we will definitely notify whenever that happens. 5,000 plus is big on what scale? Tintin, is it? Are you talking about the contracts on a buy or sell part, or on the total number of contracts which you see in the bottom? Anything above 1,000 contracts is a big number when you're looking at order flow charts of Nifty and Bank Nifty futures. So anything above 1,000 at one place is a big number, considered a big number. And it is not just the big number coming in, it also has to tell you what the order flow is showing when the in the bar when the big number is coming in. For example, today we had a big seller twice in Bank Nifty, but the order flow was showing us RBs, which is responsive buying. In fact, that helped us not to get into any put long trades, because even in the late J period, when we saw that big red getting stuck at the lows and giving us a responsive buying signal on a 3-minute order flow, we knew that the it was the put writers who were doing their work. Gopal, I think you can get in touch with our chat section. You can mail to charts@vtender.com. I think the pricing is very economical for the order flow charts, but provided you understand how to use them, because unless you know what how to use them, how to make you utilize of the utilization of the information which is given, then you may find everything expensive. But if you know what all features are there and how best you can make use of it, how you can monetize the information which is being shown on the charts, definitely it is a steal. And it also depends on what kind of a trader you are and what instruments you trade, and you have specific plans for those. So you can definitely go through the link which is given, guys, and you can get in touch with the chat section. They will definitely get back to you. We have a discount running on the chat section if you go for a longer duration, so you can definitely take advantage of that. So with this, I think we come to the end of this session, guys. Thanks for listening in, and we are expecting more of such interactive sessions going forward, where we get more interaction with you and more queries. We would be happy to answer them and learn and grow together. Thank you guys for joining in. Have a great evening, and let's have a good monthly expiry in both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. Yes, Anand, you can ping me on Twitter. My Twitter ID is @uttam goel.